Hey, do you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Merce. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Cool. And your new album is called "Watch Me Drive Them Dogs Wild," right?
hmm
It was released like super recently, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
less than a week, if that's how time works. I think less than a
How's
week.
that feel?
Um, it's funny, the day it came out, it was like it had been really sunny and summery, and the day it came out, it was like true dreary weather and raining
No.
all day. And I work outside, and so there wasn't much work to do. And I was like a little sad, just like a strange. I've been like some of these songs have been with me for like literally 5 years, so I feel freed letting them go, but also it's a strange feeling.
Yeah, because this is your first album since like 2020, right?
Yeah, it's been like 4 years.
So yeah, it must be a lot to sort of let go of and release it out into the world.
Yeah, and just trying not to impose any pressures on myself more than I already feel from everything around me.
Yeah. How did you know that like you were ready to release it?
Well, I think I've been ready to release it way before it actually came out. It was recorded like a year and a half ago. So it was basically done then. Um, but just with all of the logistics of it, it ended up taking this long to put it out. I just wanted to be more intentional about this release. I've like in the past just put things up without much planning. So I just thought it deserved a little more attention.
Yeah. And your last album was like it was 2020, like mid COVID, right?
Like right at the beginning, it I had like a whole tour planned and I had a bit more of a plan for releasing that. And when COVID hit, I was just like, this feels like the least important thing in the world right now. And so I think I just put it out and I don't even think I posted about it.
Yeah.
And just kind of let it go. So it took me a while to like come back from that. Not that it didn't break me or anything. Like I it just was it was just a bad time to be focusing on telling people to listen to your things and look at your art.
Yeah. It's a
And there
bad
were
time to be
bigger
making
things.
music. Bad time to be doing anything, honestly.
Yeah.
But
And I was like, at the same time, I would want to hear new music from people that I really love. So I was like, I'll just put it out there, and if people find it, they can.
yeah. But now you're like more heavily promoting this album, right?
Yeah. Even though, I mean, at the same time, I guess that's just like there's always going to be really fucked up things going on in the world, which there are right now. And I think um, just using the platform where I'm also talking about my music to shed light on what is going on in the world, um, I think they can coexist.
Yeah, just doing what you can with what you have.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's like the least. That's the least I could do, quite
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. What feels different to you about this album than the one that you recorded last month?
Yeah. In just an obvious way of getting older, it feels more mature. Um, that maybe it's a little more serious, which I don't want to like go down a very serious path. I like the some of the humor that my older stuff has, but yeah, just like crafted in a more intentional way because I just think I learned a lot about writing songs and bringing them to life since putting out Moons.
Yeah. You said you were spending a lot of time in nature during this album, and like there is a whole bunch of nature theming in the lyrics and even in the
hmm
sound, I feel like. Is that like a new direction for you, or have you always been sort of pushing that in your music?
Yeah, I feel like I grew up playing in the dirt and camping and stuff, but I think around the time that Moon came out was when I started kind of like learning more about plants in a more intentional way, um, which just made me notice things about nature that I've always like been in, but not totally appreciated as much. So I just like it was kind of like a newfound appreciation for um, these things that you kind of take for granted. So I was like learning about trees, like how to identify trees and that's also this summer I started landscaping and working
Mm,
at the farmers market. So I was just kind of
fun.
like, yeah, it was just kind of my world that I was like kind of learning something new every day with my jobs and the people I was around and what I was
Mm.
reading.
Yeah, I found
So,
that like I I did some research in geology a couple of years ago, and I was hanging
mhm,
around a lot of people who were like super into rocks or super into plants,
yeah,
like botany people, geology people.
totally. Yeah.
And I just found that like whenever you were existing in the world with them, they would point out things that you could never notice, you know?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
think that's something
totally.
that's so interesting about learning more granular detail about nature is that your relationship to it starts to change, right?
Yeah, it's cool because like the spots that I've frequented in Pittsburgh my whole life, whether that just be like Shenley or Frick Park in the city, or even just like people's gardens that I walked past every day, like kind of took on a new meaning. Because even like the tiniest plants, like chickweed, that is like kind of a weed to most people, like meant something to me now. I was like,
Yeah.
you can like eat it and put it in salads. So just like learning, yeah. And then I like when I um was making new friends, it was kind of like the way that I was bonding. Um, and I think that's like the best way to learn is with other people that are also excited and curious and maybe know a little more than you do.
Hmm.
It's not always the best at like reading a book and then putting it into practice.
Yeah.
I
Like,
really was just like walking around the woods and picking things up and pointing things out.
yeah. And when other people are there to like also be excited about something,
Yeah.
then yeah, it gets you excited about it.
Yeah, like my landscaping crew, we can just like nerd out about things that maybe with some of my other friends or my partner, I wouldn't necessarily spend as much time talking about with them. So, yeah, just like a
Yeah.
niche world to get excited about.
So it seems like you're influenced a lot by growing up in Pittsburgh, and your family was really musical, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you were into like the local music scene there.
Yeah, I mean, my parents were in the local music
Mm.
scene, and I was a child, so I was just, I mean, I wonder, I should ask them how long they waited after I was born before I went to a show, because it definitely was like before I was a year old, I had been to like a DIY show,
Yeah.
um, with like the huge headphones on my head, you know?
The baby headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, that like are bigger than their heads.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, my family and my parents specifically were insanely influential to just like the music I still listen to and what it means to be part of like DIY communities and stuff like that.
And do you still try to bring that like? Because I feel like DIY music has a very different philosophy behind it. Not
Mm,
even different, but a very like intentional philosophy behind it.
hmm.
Is that just always in the back of your head when you're writing or planning tours and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that it's like easy to grow further and further away from it. And I think I feel myself growing a little further away from it, but I try to be very cognizant of that and just all the small ways that I can kind of like uphold those like values that I've always believed in, even if I'm not like always playing in basements and stuff. Um, yeah, I think it's like a really good balance to keep in mind. I mean, I actually am playing a basement show at the end of October for Halloween. Like,
Because it's
I
just
don't,
fun.
yeah, I don't think I don't want to, I don't think I'll ever be better than that. I think those are some of the best shows in the world, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's something about playing for a small amount of people in an enclosed space. That's just, you can't match
Yeah.
it.
I was listening to the Life of the Record podcast where Will Oldham talks about the making of I See a Darkness, and he talks about he keeps like taking away more and more people, and he's like the honestly like the best crowd. I think he said like is like 22 people or something. Just like
Like he's got the
that,
calculus all in.
yeah. But it's true. It's like I don't really go to big shows. I actually went to the biggest show of my life for the first time because my friend found really cheap tickets to see Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson.
That'd be really
And
cool though.
yeah, and that was like surreal in a way, but like that is, I really don't go to shows that are like more than 200 people because there's
Yeah.
just like, there, I have a hard time connecting to the music
Hmm.
at such a big scale. And I don't think that, yeah, I think that it's possible, but it gets harder too.
Yeah, it's just a different kind of energy. Like
Hmm.
the energy of big shows, I feel like is there, but it's of a different flavor than being in a
Yeah.
small space with people. Maybe listening to someone that you don't know super well. Like,
Yeah, totally. I think that a lot of people, their first shows were like bigger shows, and my first shows were like tiny, dirty DIY shows, and I think that's just where my heart is
yeah.
ultimately.
Um, so I heard that you took a hiatus of music when you were a
Hmm.
teenager.
Yeah.
What sort of, and I know you were doing that so you could like focus on sports, but like what is the thing that like after growing up with music
Hmm.
for so long like made you move away from it?
I mean, it's funny to call it a hiatus because I like when I was making music, it was like I was like a literal child until I was like maybe 12 or 13 years old. I was like in a
Yeah.
punk band. And I think the biggest thing, it wasn't like it wasn't like I decided I wanted to do something more than music. I just got like stage fright really bad.
Mm.
And I think it might have been in fifth grade. I was like doing a music, like a musical, and I had a singing part, and I like totally froze for the first time ever. Like I'd done theater before in like the preschool I went to and stuff. Um, but it was like I became self-aware and I just like couldn't be on a stage
Yeah.
anymore.
Because that's such an age where that happens too. Like
Totally.
fifth
Yeah,
grade.
and yeah, fifth grade was brutal.
What a year.
Seriously.
um, yeah, I feel like it's just I don't know. It's the first time when you grow like you said, self-aware, and suddenly you're aware
Hmm.
that like people are seeing you, and
Yeah,
you
totally.
don't have any control over what you look like or
Yeah.
like how people see you. That's scary.
Yeah, it was really scary and I'm like maybe it's dramatic, but that might have been like the last time I was like on a stage um until I like picked it back up
Yeah.
again.
Do you still
And like
feel like stage fright a lot?
not to that extreme anymore. I definitely get nervous. And sometimes it takes me like a couple songs into the set to like kind of find myself again. Um, but when I started playing again when I was like 19, I would like not be able to play my finger picking songs because I'd be like shaking so much. So I've like it's been a journey, but as soon as I started playing again when I was 19, even though I was kind of scared every time, I was like I had made it through one set and it was like it just like gave me this energy that I think I'd been missing. So I like yeah, I found it again somehow.
Mm. And then that energy is presumably like stayed with you throughout the past couple
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, totally. I love playing live now, especially with a band. Um, Playing solo is still really vulnerable
Yeah.
and
Because you write all your songs, right? I think you wrote all of
Yeah.
them on this album but one.
Yeah, the only song I didn't write on that album was just the lyrics to Rain, but
Yeah,
I put it into song and made the melody and everything. And then I think my friend wrote the chords to Watch Me Drive the Dogs Wild.
got it.
But yeah, those were actually like the first two kind of like little more collaborations. Um,
Because we were just
except
talking. Oh, so go for it.
oh no, except on like my first album, there was a song that my friend that I wrote in my friend's dream and they woke up and wrote it down. So maybe that was like my first real
That's really
collab.
cool.
I
You're
turned it into a
collabing with
song.
like her sleep brain.
Yeah, and I was like, should I credit you? And they're like, no, you wrote it.
That's incredible. Uh, that I wish that music came from dreams more frequently. I feel like that is so interesting.
Me too. I know friends who have told me they've dreamt about writing songs or they heard a song in their dream, and oftentimes it's like forgotten. But
Yeah, it just leaves.
yeah, but yeah, I'm so curious what those songs would be.
Yeah, because I when I dream, I often dream about just like reading a book, and then
Whoa.
the dream itself is like happening in the words that I'm reading. But then when I wake up, I forget like what the book was. Maybe I'll remember the plot, but I won't remember like the words. So I wouldn't ever be able to write
Whoa.
down what I was reading.
Yeah, that is kind of like a song dream, but
Yeah,
you're that's cool.
but I'm just imagining like going to bed and then just hearing nothing but a song, and then waking up and then writing that down.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's happened
I bet it's
that
happened.
someone's done
But yeah, we were
it.
just talking about like how enthusiasm among people, like we were talking about this in the context of nature and stuff, but about how
Hmm.
enthusiasm is really infectious for learning and
Hmm.
growing. And do you feel that with music? Like, do you want to do you want to like collaborate with people more in the future?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, when you play so many live shows, it's always like there's always like it's always telling when a band really like captures me. 'Cause yeah, I mean like I've been to South by and other music festivals and it's just like you're taking in so much and it's such a crazy feeling when like in the midst of all of that there's like a song or a set that just like takes your breath away. And then I become like obsessed with those artists and a lot of those artists are like my friends.
Yeah,
And I yeah, I think it's like I've I get like writer's block a lot and I think that yeah, even just like sharing song ideas or new chords or whatever with fellow like musicians is like a really helpful way because writing music can be kind of lonely, you know?
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it must be fun to play with like your band and collaborate with people on writing lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, totally. I want to sing on more people's songs. I did that
Yeah,
for a few friends recently, and that I love to do. I
that's
don't
really
really
fun.
play a lot of other instruments, but singing's like my favorite instrument.
Would you ever write for like not your voice?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that,
Yeah, because I
but
feel
that's
like your music is often about like you. I mean, not like
yeah.
you, but it's like trying to like articulate some emotions,
Yeah,
right?
I actually, now that I remember, I actually have done that before. For a friend, it was a really strange experience, but he sent me three like fully fleshed out instrumentals and like an idea of what a few of them of what the theme would be. And they're kind of like pop
Hmm.
and it was a really interesting exercise. I wrote like the melody and lyrics and sang them.
I'm actually curious
And
about that because we like you said earlier that when you were a kid you were doing this punk stuff,
mhm.
but that's like that's a different direction than what you're current stuff is, obviously because you were
Hmm.
12, but
Hmm.
like like what leads you to writing in this genre?
Yeah, I don't know, like, if it was ever a choice. It was just kind of what came out of me. Um, I've never really sat down and been like, I want a song to sound like this.
Yeah.
Maybe I've tried to write a country song before, and even that didn't really work. Um, but yeah, as much as I like love the rowdier, harder stuff that I was like playing when I was 12, I think I'm really drawn to like sad music.
Yeah.
And I hope my music isn't too sad. But yeah, I think it's just like the kind of art that I gravitate towards and
Yeah.
instinctually make.
Yeah, I guess that's a really interesting way to think about genre too, right? Is like
Hmm.
if you don't go into it thinking, "Oh, I'm going to make a rock song or whatever,"
Hmm.
then you give yourself a lot more creative freedom.
Yeah, totally. I I like don't know what my next record will sound like, and I don't want to like pigeonhole it into any specific sound. Um, and yeah, I feel that like my voice is strong enough that whatever genre I'm exploring, like it won't, I won't get lost in it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So you're on tour right now, aren't you? I mean, not like
I leave,
right now, but
yeah, I
like,
leave on Thursday morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited? Do you like touring?
Yeah, I love touring. This is like our first headlining tour, basically, as this band, and in the past like few years. Um, yeah, it's like it's an addictive feeling
Mm.
as much as it is exhausting.
It's like
I,
rhythmic, right?
yeah, you get in a groove. I mean, this one's short, but yeah, it's just like, I mean, even now, just like putting out a record and all I did was like post about it on Instagram and then I sat in my house and like I'm excited for some like real human interaction with it
Yeah.
because it feels like kind of lonely um
Like
putting
once
it
it goes
out and
out,
not.
then you don't really do anything to it anymore. So I guess this
Yeah,
feels
it's
like a
like
way to get in touch with it again.
yeah, totally like reconnect with the songs and with the people that are listening to it. Um yeah, I think that's like important to me. I could never just like be a recording artist. The
Yeah.
live part is really special.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Awesome. Do you like have any places you're especially excited to go to?
These are kind of all classic spots that I've been before, but I'm excited to play in Burlington at the Radio Bean.
Mm.
It's like one of my favorite little venues that has been there forever. Um, and I played there like a year and a half ago, so
That's
it'll be
cool.
a nice little reunion.
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Uh, do you want to like talk about when your tour dates are for people who are listening?
Oh yeah. Playing in Catskill, New York on October 3rd, Burlington, Vermont on October 4th, New York City, or I guess Brooklyn, New York, that baby's all right, on October 5th, Johnny Brenda's on October 6th, and then October 8th, we're going to be in Chicago, Sleeping Village. And
Exciting.
yeah, we'll have more coming up post this tour that we're still working on.
I'm pretty sure that we're giving away tickets to your October 3rd show. So people
Yeah,
who are
at the
listening,
Avalon.
yeah,
Cool.
check the WVKR_FM Instagram for info on that.
Oh yeah.
That should be happening by the time this show goes on air.
Hmm.
I think I don't know if Burlington is in our like
Hmm.
transmitting radius, but
Yeah.
maybe they are. If you're out in Burlington listening, shout out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So check our Instagram at WVKR_FM for info about tickets to the October 3rd show. And do you have anything you want to plug?
Um, Not really. I'm just excited to play. So whoever I see out there, excited to see you.
Where should people go for more info about the tour?
I think I have it on the Darling Recordings website, the label I'm on, and in my like Instagram bio, you know. Um, yeah, and I think it shows up on Spotify and stuff. So hopefully it's not too hard to find all of those dates.
Awesome. Uh, so yeah, this has been our chat with Merce Lemon, whose new album "Watch Me Drive Them Dogs Wild" released a couple days ago.
Hmm.
You've been listening to it surrounding this interview as well. If you've been tuned in for a while, you can find it on Spotify, and you're on Bandcamp too, right?
Yeah, all the places.
All the places,
Even on vinyl.
even on vinyl. Where can people find vinyl?
That's on my Bandcamp, and it's in some record stores, depending on where you are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, well, thanks so much for sitting down and chatting. This has been really, really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking such thoughtful questions.
Do you have anything else you wanna say before you wrap it up?
Not really.
All right.
Not in a rude way, just I worked all day and my brain
That's so fair.
is mush.
It's mush.
But thank you so much. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Um, you're listening to 91.3 WVKR FM. This is the Exec Show, and that was Merce Lemon. Thanks for tuning
Thank
in.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for sitting down to interview. Really nice to meet you.
You
Good
too.
luck on the tour. Very excited.
Thank you. Do you live near Catskill? Or
Right now I'm in Poughkeepsie.
where is that?
It is, I think, near Catskill. I can look it up right now. Yeah, we're like an hour south of Catskill.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're trying to bump some Hudson Valley shows.
Nice. Sick.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for talking to me.
yeah. Thanks for sitting. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.